there are an estimated 800,000 people involved in the agriculture industry, but MITI is even much more wider than this. With such a wide spectrum, what is your focus going to be?
SMEs, for many reasons, because I saw one is the contribution of the SME sector to the GDP. As far as the manufacturing sector is about 92% of the GDP. In terms of numbers of employment, about 6.5 million. In terms of establishment, about more than 550,000 small and medium-sized companies. And in terms of contribution, very substantial for that matter. So, and also at the same time, this is where the Malaysians are involved in. Both Bumi-Putra, Non-Putra, they go from food sector to non-food sector to metal-based, to furniture, so many sectors, because they're very diversified sectors. Why I'm keen to look into it? Because I think this will be the future growth centers. And it's not just looking into the manufacturing, but also the service sector, which become more critical in the coming years. And that will be the new thrust, what this ministry will be looking at, not purely just the traditional manufacturing sector, but the service sector, which in terms of contribution now is already larger than manufacturing, but the potential for growth of the service sector, of course, is much bigger and wider, because the types of service sectors and subsectors are so varied and so many of them. And the thing is now is how to deepen the industrial base through the SMIs. That's quite important, because I saw the need for increasing use of technology, automation, mechanization, modernizations of the sectors, the need to increase the level of competency in terms of their skills and efficiency, of course, productivity as well. So there is a lot of things which I think need to be done so that the industrial base developed by this SMI can be deepened. And then that's one reason we are looking to, one, of course, what are the support that government and our agencies can do to further help this sector in the way of skills development, in terms of improving their level of efficiencies, in terms of human resource development, human capital development, in terms of increasing use of modern technology, automations, which at the moment is still low, in terms of improving the quality of the product that they produce, food and non-food items, designs, branding, marketing, promoting, all these sort of things. A total sum of, I think, many areas that we have to look at to push this sector much in the forefront. And then we are looking into what incentives that we are providing at the moment. There are already a lot of incentives, but I'm going to announce for next week, for example, additional incentive for these sectors. For example, encouraging them to go abroad to participate in trade missions, for example, and some of the costs will be borne by government or shared with the private sector. And you're talking in terms of participations at not just trade fairs, but what I call this, in terms of improving their level of competency in use of consultants to help improve their management skills. So all these sort of things we are looking at.
Tan Sri, this ministry hasn't had a change of minister for more than 20 years, and you have many agencies, MIDA, Matrade, and your officers will now have to quickly adjust to the new boss. You have had brainstorming sessions with them, I believe. What was your message to your officers?
Think business. This is a new caption I'm trying to introduce. I used to introduce that agriculture is business in the agriculture ministry. That means a lot of mindset. Of course, this ministry is much more professional in nature because they have been dealing with trade and business for as long as you can remember. So they're quite professionals. But as much as they are professional, I think there are certain areas that we have to look at to increase that level of professionalism. So one, as I said, is think business. When you think business, not think of what you can do at your ministries the way that people do in the private sector, but think what the private sector is thinking of you and how you would serve them better in terms of delivery system, decision making, extension of whatever services that you need to provide, and many, many things, and working closely together to understand really the problems. I have the chance, for example, chairing a number of meetings, and a lot of things I need to learn. I was chairing the Malaysian Logistics Council just about 2 days ago, for example, and around the table about 60 people involved in the logistics sector. It's one subsector of the so-called important service sector. So a lot of things, not only that you have to know, but you have to know well to be able to address the problems of the people involved in that sector alone. And you're talking about multifaceted subsectors that we have to deal with nowadays. And I talked to you just now about the service sector. Yeah, the distributive trade sector, logistics sector, health sector, or what we call tourism sectors, what we call many other sectors. And this needs you to deal with other agencies, other ministries, but also the private sectors involved in all those sectors. So a lot of business matters need to be dealt with, understood. And secondly, of course, is how not just think business. Secondly, of course, is how to make business more competitive, how to make Malaysia more competitive in the global market, how to reduce the cost of doing business in Malaysia. When I look into those subjects, it's not just dollars and cents. Actually, more than dollars and cents is how you do things in the ministries. What rules, regulations, what sort of condition that you require and impose upon business that we seen to be not pro-business, for example, that need to be dismantled.